the social credit check technique and how it can help you define if there's people in your life that you've may known for a long time and you're wanting to discover whether that connection has maybe worn its path and you need to make a decision, or is that you do have a really deep connection and you need to invest more time with each other to rebuild that connection. So have you ever found yourself in that situation where you're thinking about somebody in your life? It could be your romantic partner, it could be a friend, it could be somebody in your work life, or maybe in your family, say parents or siblings. And you're asking yourself, should I keep investing in this person or not? But the one thing is, when you're asking that question, you might get a flood of emotions. It could be that, well, if I do say goodbye to that person or move away or text them less, whatever it might be, then you'd feel guilty or you're not too sure because sometimes it's good and sometimes it might be feeling flat. Well, as mentioned, this technique is called the social credit check and it's very easy to do. And as mentioned, sometimes when we think about people who are in our life, we might have known them for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. And we might have had that habitual pattern of, well, they've been in our lives for so long, we should just keep going through the motions, but we might not be getting that fulfillment. So what this technique will do is clear away that flood of emotions that can sometimes confuse the mind. Now, doing this technique sometimes may feel maybe even a little bit cold, because what you're going to do is you're going to put your connection with that person on paper. And what that does, it engages the conscious mind. And the conscious mind can see things rationally. But if we've had that familiar connection for maybe decades with another person, or we've had a very intense connection with that other person, sometimes the emotions can flood our mind and make it difficult to make a decision. So the social credit check is as follows. Imagine before all of the social credit history searches of the internet, imagine a person walks up to a bank in a new town and asks them, "Can I have a loan?" And the bank manager will say, "Well, we don't know who you are. You've not paid anything into us. So no, you're not going to have a loan." So that's where we don't have any credit. And then if you work hard and you pay your money into that bank and then you get to know the staff, what happens is you build up credit with that bank. So they trust you and then you can take a withdrawal and they will lend you a loan. So if you imagine that situation there, but with people in your life, when we have a banking system, we have investments and we have withdrawals. So obviously if we pay into the bank, that's an investment. If we take out a loan, that is a withdrawal. And obviously paying money in to a bank will give us extra credit and they'll get more trust. But also if we keep taking money out and we're in debt all the time, then that lowers the trust of the bank. The content or information in these videos is for educational and informational purposes only. So what we're going to do here with the social credit check is, instead of it being money as you're paying to a bank, this time it's connection. So for you, if you think about people in your life, maybe just think about one person for now. What is it with that other person that you would imagine to be a credit into your life? So could it be that they spend time with you? Could it be that they have a great sense of humor? Could it be that you can turn to them if you need help? Could it be that you train together in a gym maybe? All of those are investments. But then if you think about the withdrawals, what with that person would be a withdrawal? It could be if they let you down. It could be if they overtalk you. It could be if they chop and change. If, say, you're in a group, they talk to you one way. If you're by yourself, they talk to you another. But also it's about what you want as a person as well, because what you want is that connection with that other person. And sometimes people just have different ways of thinking. Sometimes we grow apart. And that connection that we have with another person is that we are in synchronicity with them. We see similar, yes, we have differences, but we see similar things. So the way to do the social credit check, and again, it can sound a little bit cold because what we're doing is we're taking that connection with another person and we're putting it on paper. So as you can see here, there's a sheet with 2 columns on it. And in the first column, you have got the investments. So if you think about this one particular individual and think about all of the things that they do in your life right now, not in the past, but right now within, say, the last 6 months or a year, and all of the investments that you've got. Now, it could be, if you want to choose the past, you can do. you can make this into whatever you want it to be. But think about all of the investments. And then, as you can see here, there is a number system. So if you imagine 10 is the feel-good factor that you will get. So if they invest in it, it's a really important thing for you. That would be a 10. If it's something that they do for you, but it's only maybe okay, that will be maybe a 2 investment. So they could do 5 things for you at a 2, or 1 thing for you, and that might be a 10. So all of this is going to add up at the bottom. And then what I want to do is exactly the same, but this time for the withdrawals. So what is it that they will do in your life that you will class as a withdrawal? Now this, by the way, when you do this, investments and withdrawals, it's not about saying, well, not everybody would see it that way. It's about what you see as an investment and what you see as withdrawal. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, what anybody else would think is an investment or withdrawal. It's about what you think. This is your life, and the people you spend time with are about your fulfillment. And obviously, then what you can do if you want to, on a reverse of that, is think about what you do for that other person, because it takes both sides, remember. So what do you do for that person that is an investment for what they want? And then what do you do in time that may be to them seen as a withdrawal? So as you're doing it, it's for what you see as investments, withdrawal for what they do for you. But then if you're giving back to them, it's what they would see as an investment or withdrawal. You see, because sometimes what we can do in life is we can do things for other people because that's what we would like. There's an amazing book called The 5 Love Languages, and it's a good structure of what we can think about to understand, are we investing because we would like that, or are we investing because they would like that? And it can be a very revealing experience. So just in summary there, we have got the investments column, and then what is each investment to you out of 10? And then we've got the withdrawals column, and then what does that person do for you? There could be a withdrawal, and again, is it 1 or is it a 2, a 5 or a 10? Because sometimes we can have a person do 5 things for us, which are maybe a 1 out of 10, and then we can have 1 thing happen on the withdrawals section, and that can be a 9. So in essence, you've got a negative result, and that's why you may be feeling unfulfilled. But it could be that you had a really good connection. It's just maybe drifting apart, or maybe you're not communicating. So if you want to do this exercise, or you're going to do this exercise, feel free to let me know in the comments below, because it really would be good to hear your feedback. And I always say on every video, you never know, your comment could change somebody else's life for the better forever.